everybody. Good morning from Houston. It's Cassandra Knight with Keller Williams, the Woodlands and Magnolia, and this is Annissa. She's here with me today. I'm so excited you came on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. I was really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So me and Annissa met through BNI. It's a business networking group that I started. I just renewed for my second year, so I've been doing it for about a year now, and I got super interested in your business when you came to visit, and then you became our chapter success coach. Yeah. So that was really cool. So I wanted to have you on to talk about it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I think it's interesting. Everybody's experiences are a little different. Like, I've been in BNI now for, I'm going on my 4th year.
Okay.
So I think it's, when I was looking at how to grow my business, it found me. It wasn't on my roadmap, but neither was my business. So.
And that's the same for me. So like with BNI, I know that's not what we're here to talk about. Yeah. But so BNI, I met Trace, and know Trace, yeah. And he was at another networking event, and he walked up to me and he was like, hey, let's talk about our businesses. And we started talking. He told me about pest control. I told him about real estate, and he was like, real estate, our real estate chair just opened in our BNI chapter. And I was like, what is BNI? Yeah. And he was like, you don't even know what it is? And he started telling me a little bit about it, and he was like, well, I'll tell you more about it later. We meet on Thursday. Come join us. We meet at 9. And I was like, okay, well, let me think about it. And he's like, if you want to, just send me a text and I'll send you an invite. I said, okay. So I ended up going. He sent me the invite and all that. So I had no idea what it was. It definitely found me. Because I had never even heard of it before.
Yeah.
So
I'm in the same boat. I was at an event working. It wasn't even a member that invited me. It was a coworker or whatever. And so, I think I'm very lucky it found me. I think in all things in life, it's like what needs to be in your path ends up making it in your path somehow.
Okay.
So it's very cool. I'm glad that we met. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with my business. I've been in telecom for over 10 years, and I talked about it before. Everybody was like, what would you start a business if you could? Little ideas and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, how would you even make this a business? And then we are here now, so I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting what we do, a little bit different, and just like anybody in their industry that's there to help other people.
So tell me, what were you doing before, and how did you get into what you're doing now?
So before I was doing retail store management, so I was actually working, managing a Comcast store for 8 years.
Okay.
So 8 years, and then I went into indirect management with another company where I was basically the account manager that helped them on the corporate side, but I helped brokers, like people who were kind of like me, sell the product. And a lot of them would just do the one provider. A lot of them just worked with that one TV provider, and then they sold a couple of their own things, but that was kind of their main thing, was third party as that provider.
Okay.
And I was looking at the industry. My wife at that time was working for a partner kind of similar to that with AT&T.
Okay.
And I was like, there's probably a different way you could do this. At that point, you don't have to have just one. You could have options, just like insurance brokers do. But insurance brokers do the same things. You have some of them that are State Farm or just farmers, and then you have some that do everything. And so I was like, why isn't there one that does everything? She's like, we could do it. I was like, are you sure? I think it's too soon. She's like, yeah, we could do it. I'm like, okay. I guess let's try it, I guess. And maybe it was more her than me, because I was a little nervous. But she got started with a local provider. Now we're up to about 10 different providers on the residential side that we work with, and on the commercial side there's over 250. So it works really well. I think it was just like those little things that find you, start pulling other things out. That was exactly how our commercial side started, is people who live in houses, own businesses, and they need help as well. And so we just kind of took that same approach. We've both been in the industry for over 10 years. We said, if we already know how everybody works, why not work with everybody?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, for those that don't know, what exactly do you do in your business?
Yeah, so primarily what I do is, on my side at least, is I work with a lot of new homeowners, anybody moving or relocating, so then they get set up with their services. So instead of having to call an 800 number and start over each time, they just have one concierge person that they can call, and whether it's going to be, one provider or another, it's AT&T, Fidium, Frontier, those are just a few that are in this area. They don't have to go and find each one. And if something's missing in the back end, a lot of times this happens with new construction, their address isn't in the system, is that they don't have to call and do the ticket and then follow up and then talk to somebody they didn't talk to before. They just have one person taking care of it all.
That's awesome.
So a lot of times my customers don't even know I'm doing that. I just make it easy for them. All right, we need it perfect. I just got to do this, this, and this. I'll give you a call tomorrow, and it's just a lot simpler. I think that the buying a home is so special.
It is.
It's really like a very special thing, and I see a lot of things, a lot of people who have parts and it's an emotion, but I want to make it special, and so I think that's what I like about it.
Okay.
It's nice to be part of that, and just that little bit that makes that easier for people.
I gotcha. So this isn't something that you had always dreamed of doing? No,
absolutely not.
What did you think you were gonna do before this? What was the dream? Just to stay in retail, or?
No, actually, no. That was just really was the job that found me. I was looking for work, and I got into that. And I enjoy working with people, but I didn't really know where I wanted to be at the beginning. When I was first going to school and things like that, I was going to be a graphic designer.
Okay.
So my trajectory was definitely different than my landing spot.
Okay.
But it's nice. I mean, I'm still able to be creative in it. I have a heart that I like to serve people, and so it's still satisfying.
Okay. And so you and y'all built this business, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something, are there other companies like this that do what you do, or just
There's
not really?
A few, but not really, and not on a local perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might find, kind of like an energy broker, you'll find the ones online that are going to give you all the stuff, but they're not very personal, and they also don't know specific to the areas.
Okay.
So
that's interesting. And where do you guys cover? Are you all over Houston, or are you just in
No, we cover all of Houston. We actually do have nationwide services. So I've helped people all over the place. I've helped people in Arizona and California. I think I helped somebody in North Dakota once.
Okay.
So
interesting.
It's not confined to just here, but we definitely do focus north of Houston. That's where I have more of a personal coverage, because I go out and I connect with those communities. I work with a lot of the local builders and sales agents, realtors, all that kind of stuff.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So how do you get connected with people outside of Houston?
Outside of Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, referrals.
Okay.
Some people do find us online, because when you look up local internet services, sometimes it's, you're not going to have too many options. So we do have some people find us, but a lot of times it's referrals. Even people from here that are relocating out.
Okay.
People remember you when they like you. So
Absolutely.
they call me back and they're like, can you help me in wherever? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I was just interested if, we have BNI conference where you meet so many people from so many states, even people up in Canada. And I was wondering if anybody had, asked for your help out that way.
Not through that way. But I do have some different connections. I mean, my wife is from Florida, so she has a lot of connections over there. I have some family in California, and then I lived in Oregon, Washington for a long time. So our network has kind of been larger, because unfortunately we're not native, but we've been here for a little while.
So your wife is from Florida. Are you originally from Houston?
I'm originally from Idaho.
Idaho. Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you from Idaho to Houston?
So a little bit of a journey there.
Okay.
I grew up in Boise, and my family had kind of moved. My dad started taking people out onward on the Oregon Trail, if you will. So I was like, okay, well, they had some school opportunities there, and so I went to Washington, finished out high school, started college, and then I just was there for a while, and I didn't really. I think that's the part where I give up planning, because when I was a kid, when you're thinking, you're like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do, A, B, C, D, you know what I'm saying? And so when even leaving, I never saw myself leaving Boise as a kid.
Okay.
I really didn't. I thought I was gonna grow up there. My family had a salon. I said, I'm gonna work here forever. That's my plan. And that plan changed. A lot of things changed. And so that opportunity in Washington came up. I moved, and I started school, I started working, and I met my partner, and so we kind of settled down there, and even then, we made the same thing, plans, we're like, we're going to buy a house here, we're going to do this, this, and this, and just so many people in the world, COVID happened, and you're like, all right, so what now? And, and I kind of thought about it, I was like, I was comfortable where we were, but there's always, something else, and so she had a feeling, and we were talking about it one day, and she said, I just have a feeling God's telling me we need to go somewhere else. And I said, okay, all right, well, where are we going to go? And so we opened a map, and we kind of just pointed at some places, and we picked Nevada, Arizona, and Texas.
Okay.
Because her family was still in Florida, mine was still in California in the Northwest, and so we said, well, let's look for something in the middle. And Nevada was nice, but there's too much dirt for me, unfortunately. Sorry if anybody is
Too much dirt?
You're just landlocked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to be landlocked.
No water. I get it.
Yeah, like there's no coast.
I'm a beach girl too, so I get that. I understand.
So I was like, I don't think that's gonna work. And I was like, let's go to Arizona. She's like, I was there in the Army. I don't want to go back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Okay, well we'll go to Texas, and so that's kind of how we picked it here. And we picked Houston because at that time I could transfer my job, and so could she. So it worked out well, and it's kind of halfway between the families. And when we let our families know we were leaving, they said, well, we're gonna come with you.
Really?
Yeah, so her family moved down here with us. And
okay.
Now we have almost everybody. So my sister, that's the first one on my side to move. So she's here now. She moved a month ago.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so, I mean, similar but not similar. So I'm originally from Georgia.
Okay.
That's where I came from. And so David was doing like air traffic control stuff.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to be an air traffic controller. He went through like a year of schooling, and he got to the testing part, and he passed 2 of the tests, but not the last one. It's really hard. A lot of people don't pass it. Well, he came back home, and he was like, I have to wait a little bit before I can bid to go back in. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he decided like just to kind of wait and see, and he was like serving tables and stuff. And then his brother-in-law, who lives here in Spring, called and was like, hey, I have this guy I play golf with. And he was like, okay. And he's like, well, he works in the oil industry and they're hiring. Do you want to apply? And he's like, I don't know. I've never really worked in like oil. And he's like, well, like they're oil pipeline controllers. They sit behind computers. It sounds like something you would like. And he's like, I don't know. That's a long way to move just for a job. And he's like, okay, well, here's about how much they make. And he was like, so when's the interview? And so he flew up here and did like 2 interviews, and he got the job. And he was like, hey, I'm moving to Texas. Do you want to go? And I was like, no, I don't want to live in Texas. I've never wanted to live in Texas, but you know what? Sure, why not? So we came out here, and so far I've loved it. I mean, we've been here a little over 2 years, so it's like 2 years, maybe 3-ish months.
Okay.
And so I love it, and it's neat. And the only thing I miss is the mountains, because we don't have any mountains here.
Flat.
And we used to love hiking. Like, we would hike almost every weekend, because where we lived in Georgia, we were right close to the mountains. So we could go up and do that all the time.
The same way then.
But his sister is here. That's the only family we have here. And my family and his family come to visit, but we haven't convinced anybody to come out here yet. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Property.
Just give us some time.
Yeah. Property is going, like, it's getting more expensive in Georgia. So I'm like, hey guys, come on. My older brother's like, never. He's like, I will never move there. It's too hot. He hates the heat. And he's like, he'll send me memes and stuff all the time. He's like, he sent me one like earlier this summer, and it was somebody cooked a bread in their mailbox here in Texas.
My gosh.
And I was like, I mean, maybe. And he's like, definitely, I'm not doing it. I'm never coming to visit or anything. You can come see me. And I was like, okay. I was like, just come when it freezes. You'll be fine.
You're just gonna invite him like around February.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, but similar moved from out of state, and then when we moved here, I became a real estate agent. You know, it kind of came around surprisingly, because I was working in the food industry, and I just got tired of it, right? And when we moved here, we used a realtor to find our rental property, and she was terrible. She was the worst realtor I've ever talked to, ever heard of. Like, she was just really not great. She was rude, and she, like, we told her our preferences, and she would show us things that wouldn't even match it.
Oh, wow.
And things like that. And so, I didn't know it, but that kind of became a thing for me when I quit a restaurant because of some craziness that happened, and somebody asked me, like, what are you going to do next? And I was like, I don't know. and they, like, insurance was something someone said, and car sales is something someone said, and then finally somebody was like, well, what about real estate? And, you know, as I got into that, I just realized, like, it was what I was good at, and I really enjoyed it. And also, with the whole relocation thing, I have a passion for it. Like, people who move here really should have someone to represent them that cares about, you know, you're coming from a different state, you don't know anything about the area, so it's important to have somebody who cares and doesn't just, you know, throw you to the wind.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good. That makes sense then, because it comes from an experience that's your catalyst.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I understand that then. So it might be similar, because I felt the same way when I was moving too. I'm like, there's a lot of things as a new home owner that, you know, you want to experience.
Absolutely.
And you expect that, you kind of have an expectation, you know. And so when things don't go that way with the people you have, it's like, oh, is that how it should be?
Absolutely.
So it's cool that you get to do that for other people and make that something better.
Absolutely. And I actually used you when I moved into my house. That was a really good experience. I liked working with you. It was easy. Yeah. That was the biggest thing. So, like, David, he's a big video game guy. He, like, streams, and, you know, I work from home. So we really needed the good internet. And we haven't had any issues at all with our internet. Plus, the gift card was nice.
I was going to say, did you get the rest of your Home Depot stuff?
I did. So David used it, and he got, what did he get? He got, like, a weed eater and a wet vac. I don't know. I'm like, as long as we need it, whatever, dude. Like, I knew, because there was, like, all these different options. And just for context, I got a $200 gift card. Is it from AT&T? Mm-hmm. Okay, I've never had that happen when I've signed up for internet ever in my life.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But I got a $200 gift card, and they give you, like, all these options. It's like Amazon or, like, restaurants, or
they even had airlines on there.
There was an airline. Yep, I saw all that. But I'm strictly a Delta girl. I won't fly anywhere else because I've had some experiences. But anyway, yeah, and so we just did Home Depot, and we put it towards the house that we just bought. So it made sense. But that was really neat. Does that happen every time you sign someone up for internet?
So, as long as I can, I do. So I usually do have some exclusive offers people don't get. Like, if you go online, you're not going to get that. I was actually just helping some people, because like I said, I work with some local builders, and so when people call me later after they sign up online, I've asked them, like, did you get this? Did you get that? They're like, no. Like, that's why you should call me. I have some stuff for people specifically. Okay. So, yes, as much as I have something to give somebody, I absolutely will.
Okay. And so, how did you go about, like, getting in touch with all the internet? Like,
the companies? Little by little, I'd say it's definitely experience. Coming from the indirect side that I had, I kind of learned that side of the business to see how things work. And the more that I kind of, just through my career, I learned how other things work, right? Like the distribution system of just products and services in general. And so you find different ways and how everybody partners, and then you can go from there to kind of get partnered with everybody. Okay. So that's what I did. On the commercial side, it's a little bit different. They know what that looks like, so they have kind of a model, but some of the residential is not all uniform like that. So I just work, a lot of them are kind of one-on-one relationships you have with each of them through different distributors and things like that. Just the same as you would. Like I said, I think the closest industry I could reference is like insurance, perhaps. And it's just like that. So we partner with them all, know what everybody's kind of doing. You gotta keep your, you gotta definitely be interested in learning, because everybody's gonna change things, and things are gonna, you know, innovate and change and transition, and especially in this area because we have so much growth. Yep. Not only do we have a lot of new neighborhoods, but we have a lot of new providers and new construction, and so you kind of have to just keep tabs on different things there. So I don't know, I think because I've just done it for so long at this point, it's sort of second nature. I'm always like looking at different things. So if I go through a neighborhood, I'm looking for, you know, what pedestals they have, who's coming out, who's doing the construction, so I can kind of keep tabs. You know, I think everybody has it, you know, in their industries like that. Since my wife does more of the IT side of the things, she's always looking at everybody's access points every building we go to. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I'm sure as a realtor, you go in houses, you don't look at houses the same anymore. Nope. You're looking at it like,
Yep, definitely. There's definitely some things that I see now that I'm like, hey, we should watch out for that. And I would have never thought of it before.
Yeah.
So looking at your business, where do you want to be in like 3 to 5 years?
That's a really good question, because we've been thinking about that a lot, especially myself. I think what I'd like to do at this point is have a few people with me, a team.
Okay.
Because there is so much growth here, and I think that we do offer something unique. I mean, it's very personalized. I don't mind doing some of the little extra things to help people, and I think there's other people that are like that in the world, and I think that they could do the same thing. So in 3 to 5 years, I think that's definitely the goal, to get a few people to join and kind of expand the area. I know that we've done that a few times before, but more in what I do. I want them to kind of do what I do.
And new homeowners always are going to have this question. So how much do your services cost?
So the services are always going to depend on the options that are available, but typically they're anywhere between $40 to $80, just depending on the provider. And so that's part of my process with people, is to ask, one, what do you need it for? Because I don't want to give you something that's in your budget but not going to work for your needs. And then two, what are your needs, right? And those are the two most important things. Because for me, I want somebody to have something that's going to work for them, not that's going to work for me.
Absolutely.
Right. So longevity is the best thing. If it doesn't work, though, I'm always able to change it. But definitely, what are your needs and what are your budget? Because each provider is going to have different stuff depending on that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, trying to think what else. If there's anything else that I missed about. So another thing that I do, like, we're getting close to the end of everything.
Yeah.
I always ask if you could talk to the next person that comes into the room that's a business owner.
Okay.
What, in your experience, what would you tell them? Like, what would be your advice, or how?
So, like, a new business owner?
Yeah, to any business owner.
Okay. That's a good one. Wow. Maybe because I come from the side where you gotta protect yourself, I tell you definitely be proactive. I think being proactive prevents a lot of issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about your systems and structures, especially where your information is, and so I do help protect that for even residential people, because people don't know where their kids are clicking on stuff either.
Yep.
And what things they're opening up in your atmosphere, right? And so I think for business, it's kind of the same thing with that, right? Your identity online is very important, but so is your identity in your business, right? So, like, what people are you pulling into it? What systems are you pulling into it? Even processes that may not be the most efficient. So, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned as a business owner, and that's going to come with each business, that it's unique to them, that you're going to get started with something and then learn another way to do it. Or you might get started with something and you hire somebody that might not be the most efficient for your business. So it's just kind of being aware of what is entering that atmosphere, especially if it's something you're starting from scratch. I know if you're starting something that has a structure, luckily some of those things get weeded out. But when you're starting your very own structure, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of be aware of those things that are in your system, in your environment, that they're all cohesive with what you're looking to do. So I think vision building has been the most effective for us. Like, what do I want our business to look like? What do I want other people to see it as? Mm-hmm. And is everything else kind of working with it or against it? And if stuff's working against it, sometimes there is, and you just gotta weed it out.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember the last question that I was going to ask you. So what's been the hardest part of your business? Like, what's the thing that's like, it's gotcha right now that you would like to improve, or maybe it's just something you've struggled with since the beginning? What's been the hardest part of your business?
That's a great question, and that's tricky. I think personally, my thing is patience. That's my own issue. And so perhaps it's not the business problem, but it's my problem, and it's because sometimes I want to be somewhere that I just want to be there already, or I just want to do it already, or I just want to get there already, and it's just not. You have to make your way through it. I've been doing some stuff this week, a lot of stuff with our church and stuff like that, and I've learned, like, God puts you where you need to be, so it prepares you for where you're gonna be. So you can't just be there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's up to me, I would be like, can I just be there? And I think that's my challenge.
Okay, absolutely. And I relate to that 100%. Like, My first year of real estate was hard.
Yeah.
And people don't tell you. Like, they tell you that real estate is difficult, but all you see is everybody's doing great, right? So no one really shows you the hard stuff. And the first year, I did tons of rentals, but I only closed one property.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was super discouraged coming into my second year. Like, I was like, I need to move. I feel like I need to be doing better. And then talking to my mentors and people who have been in real estate a long time, they're like, I don't even talk about my first year because I didn't close anything. And they're like, the fact that you did rentals is crazy. Yeah. Like, they're, you know, and I shared this the other day with somebody. So the patience thing, I totally understand. But this quote that someone said in a podcast, I've like held on to it to kind of relate to that. And it says, there's a reason you're the youngest person in the room.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like most real estate agents get into it when they're like 40 or 50. Well, I'm 25. I'll be 26. Oh. So there's very few people my age in this industry.
Yeah.
And they, you know, there's a reason that I'm this young and in the rooms that I'm in. So even with BNI, you know, when I interviewed, there were 6 other agents in that room, and I got the chair. And they even asked me to come back for the second year. Yeah. So, you know, to that same point, patience is key, and I'm learning it too. So I get it 100%.
And sometimes there's stuff that's in you that you don't see yourself, you know? Yeah. It's just like you said, I think that's interesting we have that in common. Neither of us anticipated this career or even being here. But yet we are. And I think that's what has taught me to have like some faith. Like that's what kind of had me let go a little bit. Now it's hard to let go control, but you're like, all right, well, I don't really know what's going to be next. But I know that what's in me will be out. So,
do you have a lot of control over your business and like what happens in like the 4 walls? For me, like a lot of what I do is like passing people off. Like there's a contract that's closing tomorrow, and I talked to the lender. We're still waiting for a clear to close, and he's like, I'm still working on it, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm tired of sitting on the bench. Put me in the game. I want to play. And I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm just sitting here. That's part of my business. It's just handing people off to other people and trusting that they're going to do what they need to do.
You're like the project manager.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So is there any of that, or is it mostly in-house you deal with
Mostly in-house. I mean, there's only a few times that there's situations where, like, you know, something's going on. Yeah. There's a ticketing issue or, you know, they have something that's going on. But very limited, and usually I have control over it. I think that's why I like it, because it's something that I know what to expect and I know how to work it. So I know it's a little different. I'd be on your bench now.
Oh yeah, no.
I want to be like in your seat, because it's hard sometimes to be reliant on other people. That's why I give it to y'all, because you make it look good as a realtor, and I know you gotta like do that for your clients. You gotta make it look good so they don't feel that either. So I get
100%. It's a lot of going, everything's fine, and then standing there going, ah!
Yeah.
So 100%. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we're at time. So you know, I really appreciate you, and I loved getting to know you more, because we haven't gotten a lot of opportunity to talk about what we do and, you know, where we came from and all that, so that was
how
really
we got
fun.
here.
Exactly. So this was a really great opportunity, so thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you soon.